Even if you carefully pick a surgeon to perform your operation, there's a chance your doctor will never pick up the scalpel.
Our investigative team found it happens more than you might think. Here's Charlotte Huffman with the story of one woman who says she paid the price.
You want to take a minute?
I'm okay.
Imagine you go in for surgery. You're on the operating table. The anesthesia starts flowing. Everything begins to fade, and you're out.
This is obviously very difficult. Why share your story?
It's just been the worst year of my life. I'm disfigured. I feel mutilated.
Next, something you didn't expect. A handful of resident trainees put on gloves and enter the operating room.
I feel like I did everything right in researching and vetting this doctor, and yet this is how it all turned out for me.
Do you feel like a guinea pig?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's called ghost surgery.
Ghost surgery is when the surgeon cutting into you is not actually the person you thought was going to be doing the surgery.
Dr. Michael Greger is a national expert on public health. He says ghost surgery is common in hospitals affiliated with medical schools.
This is a nationwide issue. If you walk into a teaching hospital, odds are not only are you not going to have the surgeon you thought was going to do it, it's going to be a surgeon in training, a resident actually doing the surgery, and the surgeon you thought was going to do it may not even be in the room.
And often, the only way patients find out is if something goes wrong. When Catherine Weber learned she was at high risk for breast cancer earlier this year, she chose to have a breast reduction. She selected a double board certified surgeon at the University of Texas Southwestern, but the surgery didn't go as expected.
And this is what it looked like.
Okay, wow.
She says her medical file may explain why. Records show her doctor supervised the operation, and 2 residents in training are listed as being assistant surgeons.
I'm like, who the heck are these people?
So here's how this works. Residents in training can legally perform a surgery, but only if the surgeon supervises and the patient gives their written permission. It's called informed consent. UT Southwestern says Weber gave informed consent, and technically that's true. She signed a 3-page form. Look closely and you can see this one sentence says residents may perform portions of the surgical procedure. But Weber admits she didn't read everything because she says the first time she was given the forms was while on a gurney minutes before surgery.
That's just so typical. They do it that way is to railroad you in. They know you're not going to be reading anything. And of course, you're in no mental state to be going through it. You're being rushed through the process.
The American College of Surgeons says informed consent is not just a signed document, but rather a discussion conducted by the surgeon about who will participate and their respective roles.
So he never once had any sort of verbal conversation with you implying that medical students would be involved in your surgery?
Absolutely not. I would never have tolerated that.
Weber complained to the state medical board, which determined the doctor's treatment was consistent with established practices. UT Southwestern wouldn't talk to us on camera about their protocol. Instead, sent us an email saying, academic medical centers and teaching hospitals educate the next generation of physicians, and at UT Southwestern, that is no different. The attending surgeon determines the level of involvement of residents, and the safety of patients remains paramount at all times. But this is an issue that spans beyond UT Southwestern to its teaching hospital, Parkland. Hospital records obtained by a Dallas law firm in a 2007 whistleblower complaint show from 2007 to 2008, there were 161 surgeries at Parkland where the surgeons left the operating room. During those 161 surgeries, our calculations show residents were left alone to operate on the patient without any supervision 83% of the time. And in 18% of the surgeries, the lead surgeon never even showed up. But again, you'd never know it. You're on the operating table, out cold.
A former head surgeon at UT Southwestern says he knows of cases where surgeons weren't even in the country, let alone the operating room. His story after the break. Before the break, we told you about a North Texas woman who says her surgery was botched because her surgeon allowed residents in training to operate on her. Now we're hearing from a former head surgeon at UT Southwestern who says he's seen it happen firsthand.
I didn't believe what I was seeing.
Dr. Larry Gentilello says ghost surgeries are a problem dating back more than a decade.
Put the ultrasound away. OG tube, let's go.
In 2007, he was a head surgeon and the chair of UT Southwestern's Burn, Trauma, and Critical Care Division of Surgery. Today, though, Gentilello lives in San Francisco. We traveled there to talk to him about his experience at UT Southwestern's teaching hospital, Parkland.
I remember being told early on, my first few days, Larry, you've done enough operations. Just stay out of the OR and let the residents do it. They've got to learn. Well, nobody wants a resident to learn on them. I mean, that's not ethical at all. But that was the sort of the culture at Parkland.
He says what he witnessed at Parkland was unlike any other teaching hospital he had ever worked.
I had a faculty member whose parent died in England, and for a month his name was on the consent form for dozens of operations when he wasn't even in the Western Hemisphere. I just had enough. I said, I'm going to put a stop to this. It's my division.
But Gentilello says when he voiced his concerns, he was demoted. Shortly thereafter, the feds cited Parkland for significant deficiencies, including surgeries with unsupervised resident trainees. Parkland agrees to allow federal oversight of patient safety, and in 2013, the feds announced Parkland had made the required improvements. But Parkland denied our request for an on-camera interview about the changes they've made, and instead sent us an email simply stating residents cannot do surgery without supervision of an attending physician.
It's just shameful.
But for patients like Weber,
We deserve better than this
that answer isn't good enough.
because I know I'm not the only one that this has happened to, and I know I won't be the last.
In Dallas, I'm Charlotte Huffman.
So what can you do if you're having surgery at a teaching hospital and don't want residents in training to be involved? Tell your doctor and don't sign any paperwork that you don't have time to read.